This week, we're going to talk about the digestive system and the urinary system. We're going to talk about the characteristics, the different types of digestion, the organs that make up the system, the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, and the spleen. Let's talk about the characteristics. It's a two-part process to turn food into usable energy. There are two types of digestion. You have physical digestion, the breaking down into larger pieces, and chemical digestion breaks down complex chemicals into smaller ones. Physical digestion. Teeth. The most physical digestion takes place here. Adult humans have about 32 teeth. There's 8 incisors, 4 canines, 8 premolars, and 12 molars. There's some key parts of the teeth, like the enamel, the smooth, hard covering, the dentin, the porous bone of the tooth, the pulp, the cavity containing blood vessels and nerves, and the cementrum binds the enamel to the dentin. There's different organs of the digestive system: mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. Then there's organs that help: the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas. All in total, this is about 28 feet in length. So here's a labeled picture of most of the things we talked about. The mouth. The teeth physically break down food to smaller pieces. Saliva begins to mix with food. In the saliva is a mixture of water, mucus, and a digestive enzyme called salivary amylase. Then we talk about the esophagus. The muscular tube connects the mouth to the stomach. Food works its way down this tube by rhythmic smooth muscle contractions and relaxations called peristalsis. Then we have the stomach. The stomach holds about 2 to 3 pints. Its mechanical and chemical digestion takes place here in this J-shaped bag. On the top part, right about here, is a cardiac sphincter. It's a ring of muscle that allows food not to go back up into the esophagus. People that struggle with this cardiac sphincter will have a lot of acid reflux. The pyloric sphincter. It's located at the lower end of the stomach. It opens to release a little food at a time. The outer walls of the stomach are composed of 3 layers of muscle: the circular, longitudinal, and diagonal layer. Together, they twist and they turn the stomach. Then you have the small intestine. It's where chemical digestion is completed and nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. The lining is highly folded to form microscopic finger-like projections called villi or villi. The large intestine, also known as the colon. About 1.5 liters of water in material that enters the large intestine. Minerals, vitamins, and the rest of the water is absorbed into the bloodstream from the large intestine. We talk about the liver. About 30% of the blood pumped through the heart in 1 minute passes through the liver to be cleaned. The liver is the largest gland in the body, weighing 2.5 to 3.5 pounds. The liver produces bile to be stored in the gallbladder. The gallbladder. Food passing into the small intestine causes the gallbladder to secrete or release bile. That bile liquefies fats, turns fats into liquid to easier digest the food. Then there's the pancreas. Pancreatic fluid is secreted, released into the small intestine to break down food. That is called insulin, is released to break down that sugar. The spleen. The spleen is most misunderstood. It's actually a meshwork of tiny blood vessels. It filters the blood and removes abnormal blood cells. It makes the disease-fighting components of your blood. Now we'll talk about the urinary system. We'll talk about the job in the urinary system, the three main organs, and the diagram. It filters the blood, called nephrons, takes urea out of the blood. It's produced from digested proteins like meat, controls homeostasis of blood, stores the urine for removal. Kidney, it's a bean-shaped organ. It's about the size of your fists. Controls amount of salt, ammonia, and water in the blood. There's two organs, two kidneys in your body, but you can live with only one. A ureter goes from the kidneys and goes down to the bladder. It's about 8 or 10 inches long. Urine is released in small amounts into the bladder every 10 or 15 seconds. If urine stands still or backs up, the kidney infection will develop. Bladder, hollow muscle organ shaped like a balloon, sits in your pelvis and is held in place by ligaments attached to other organs in the pelvis. And it stores urine. It can hold up to 16 ounces, 2 cups of urine comfortably for about 2 to 5 hours. One of the most common problems is a urinary tract infection. It's bacteria in the bladder or kidneys. It can cause kidney failure if you have too many of them. And here's a picture of the urinary system with the kidney, the ureter, the bladder, and urethra. And if you look inside of a kidney, here you have like the arteries and veins going in, the ureter coming out, and this is called the cortex on the outside.